Have you ever felt like social media is messing with your confidence? I always like to say comparison is the thief of joy. And social media is a space that we go into and compare ourselves to the best of other people's lives, which can sometimes leave us feeling a little less confident in our own lives. And so, recognizing that this is something that we struggle with, I put together a list of 10 ways of building your self confidence. Now, this may be for you, it may be for your child, for your students, it could be for a friend, but we all know someone who struggled with confidence. And if we're all really honest with ourselves, we've probably struggled with our confidence in one way or the other. The way to bring out the best in you is to be more secure and accepting of who you are. And so let's talk about what that looks like in real life. I'm Amber Lee Forrester. I'm a positive psychology based life coach and a personal and professional well being consultant. And I have this list for you, and I can't wait to jump in. So let's do it right now. Number one, recognize your strengths. We can become so focused on what we don't have, what we can't do, that we often fail to look at what we are good at. What are you best at? If I ask you right now to list your top strengths, could you tell me what they are? So, if we're looking at building our confidence, we have to build the awareness around what it is that we're good at. Maybe you have appreciation for bringing out the best in other people. Maybe you're very creative. Maybe you're really funny. Maybe you have a lot of curiosity and a love for learning. What I'm telling you to do here, or encouraging you to do here, is to really be clear about what it is that you're good at and to take a strengths-based approach to life. That really helps in building your confidence and putting your strengths to use, because you're focusing on not on your deficits, but you're focusing on all of what makes you who you are in the best of ways. And so, number two, as I just mentioned, is to take a strengths-based approach to life. So if you recognize that you're humorous, then incorporate humor in the work that you do. Incorporate humor in the style that you show up in the boardroom. Incorporate humor even if it's within your classroom or in your relationships. Lean on that humor, because that's something that's a strength of yours that you're more comfortable. And what you'll find yourself doing is finding confidence in developing other strengths of yours, because you find yourself building on these strengths at work and you see you're getting better, like, oh, I'm a little funnier. Okay, So once you get that muscle going, then you're able to develop and take some of that same confidence into areas where you're not as strong. If you're interested in learning about what your strengths are because you don't quite know, you can visit my website, quartzwellnesscollective.com. I'm sure there'll be a link somewhere around here, and you can take a strengths assessment. It's from the VIA. It's a VIA character strengths assessment, and it will give you a free assessment of your strengths, a list of your top 5, and then some of your lesser strengths. And I always like to follow that up with a document that'll share with you a bit on how to put those strengths to use. So you can feel free to sign up for our newsletter and you'll get that document, or check out our website for our free resources. All right, so let's move on to number 3. Choose the learner path over the judger path. I'm talking to all of you out there who may be judging other people. Well, guess what? As harshly as you judge other people, you judge yourself, right? And so when we take a growth mindset approach to life and we say, yeah, I'm not that good at this yet, or I'm not that good at this, but I'm willing to grow, it opens our life up to the possibilities. Your confidence may be taking a hit because you're focusing in one area where you have deficits and not looking at the vast possibilities of where you can strengthen your confidence in yourself and strengthen your abilities and your skills. And so if you are someone who, for example, is not very confident in engaging with other people, maybe you connect with someone based on being vulnerable and opening up with them and telling them, I really admire about you that you are really good at this, and I'd like to get good at that too. Let me ask you some questions. Then you're on the learner path. You're exercising your curiosity and learning about other people and what they do that makes them really fantastic. Whatever it is that you admire, there's a piece of that in you, but it's up to you to really be intentional about developing it. So if you admire and you see it in somebody else, then the speck of it is already there within you. You just got to be on that learner path and grow. Instead of judging yourself for it, instead of focusing on what you don't have, look at how you can open yourself up to building on it. Number 4, practice self-acceptance. You're not going to be great at everything, right? There's some things that you're great at and there are some things that you're not. And you can choose, I'm going to work on this, or you can say, for now, I'm going to be comfortable with where I am in this space, and I'm going to focus my energy on improving in these other spaces. You can say that maybe, you always wanted gray eyes and you don't have gray eyes. So you could go and get some contacts, or you could just accept that you have beautiful brown eyes. And there are other things about yourself that you can change, like your hair color or your hairstyle or the eyeshadow that you wear. And you can work with what you have to get what you want instead of focusing on what you don't have. Number 5, growth mindset. I already talked about that, so I'm not going to go too deep, but it's really important. If you're not familiar with this concept of growth mindset, I encourage you to check out our blog, do a little Googling and research. The power of yet will get you so far. When you are able to say, I can't do this yet, or I haven't done this yet, or I haven't accomplished this yet, you open up space for all there is to accomplish. And you're giving yourself a little bit of grace and not judging yourself because you haven't done it, but just realizing that you are on a path to mastery. You don't just get good at something and then that's it, and you don't work on yourself anymore. You're always going to be working on something. My grandmother was 91 years old when she passed away. And you know what she said up until her last day? That she was getting gooder and gooder and better at everything that she put her mind to, and you can do the same. You got to have that growth mindset. And so number 6, exercise the power of yet. I don't have that man that I want yet. I don't have the job that I want yet. And then recognizing, how do you get from where you are to where you want to be? Now, this is what I usually work on with my clients. How do you get from where you are to where you want to be is the starting question that I ask, or that I set out to answer with the clients that I work with. Identifying reality of where are you right now and what's your vision for the future, and then breaking the steps down and figuring out how to get from where you are to where you want to be. Yet recognizes the space between now and what's to come. Number 6, I said, was the power of yet. Number 7 is that commitment to mastery, right? So I've mentioned this already as well. Mastery is a process. It's not something, there's no finish line when you commit to mastery. You're just always working on improving in some area in one way or the other. And that can look like never really having full self-acceptance. But I'm going to say that I think that that's healthy. Whenever I do work with a client, I start with a wheel of life also, and I ask them to rate themselves in different areas of their lives. When I do this process, this exercise myself, I never give myself a 10 because I feel like there's always room for improvement. And by always being willing to get a little better at something, it makes life interesting. I can tell you, I am absolutely never bored. It's like I've over the years become really great with positive psychology. I've been studying the science of well-being and human flourishing over the last 5 years. Now, there are people that have been studying it for the last 30 years, so I can always get better in that space. But even as I've gotten more confident in this space, now I've moved on to restorative practices, the social science of building strong relationships and repairing harm in communities. And so this is because I have a love for learning. That's one of my strengths, right? And I recognize that I can always be learning something, because you're either learning or you're forgetting. You're either improving or you're kind of starting to slip. And so by being intentional about continuing to commit to mastery, you keep yourself getting gooder and gooder and better, as my granny used to say. All right, number 8, I'm going to tell you to set and track your goals. How do you recognize the goals that you have, that you're accomplishing your goals, if you're not actually writing them down, if you're not actually keeping a list of them? Please don't keep it all in your head and tell me that's the way I keep it. I just keep it in my head. No. The first manifestation of your goal in real life is to write it down on paper. That really helps us in committing to it. Not only writing it down on paper, but creating measurables to it that let us know our key KPIs, as we say in business, our key performance indicators. How do we know that we're working towards achieving our goal? If your goal is to lose 30 pounds, then how do you know that you're on the way? You could step on a scale, but you could also tell yourself, okay, I'm going to check in and I want to lose 5 pounds in the first month, 5 pounds in the second month, and break that big goal down into a smaller goal and come up with your little things that you can check off along the way. Psychologically, it makes us really feel like we accomplished something because we can see right in front of us, oh, check mark, check mark, check mark. I'm accomplishing my goal. And it gives us a little boost of dopamine. It makes us feel good and encouraged and motivated to continue reaching our goals. Number 9, I want you to visualize yourself at your very best. What does it look like to be at your best in your friendships, in your family relationships, in your career? What does it look like to have the best health possible for you, to be in the best physical health? What does it look like to have the best mental and spiritual health for you? And visualize yourself in that space. Don't accept that you cannot get to where you want to be just because you haven't gotten there yet. See yourself there. If you are into manifestation and Esther Hicks and all of these authors, Michael Bethwick, who talk about manifestation, the visualization is a key part of it. So if you get up in the morning or before you go to sleep at night and you're saying a prayer for something, visualize yourself actually having that. Imagine what it would feel like to actually be in that space. That is going to give you confidence and excitement about moving forward towards it and not let you just get stuck in the now, right? It's important to be present, but we don't want to get stuck. We want to be flexible and be able to see ourselves improving. The more we improve, the more we build our muscle for self-improvement, the more we prove to ourselves that we can accomplish small goals and then bigger goals and then much larger goals, the more confident we get about our abilities. And the last number 10 piece that I want to give you, way of building your confidence, is to be okay with failing. Failure is just an invitation to keep going. You don't fail until you quit. What is it? First attempt in learning. FAIL, first attempt in learning, is what they break down failure towards. Keep trying, keep going. If you haven't gotten there yet, you just need to keep going. So be comfortable and accept that you're going to make mistakes. You're not going to get it all right the first time around. But if you think back to your commitment to mastery, if you think back to the power of yet, if you think back to your growth mindset, then you start to find sources of power and encouragement and motivation to keep going. So those are 10 ways to build confidence. I hope that's helped for you. I hope that has helped you. Please share this with a friend, a loved one, or someone that you think would find it valuable. And you can follow me on Instagram at The Flow Coach. And also be sure to check out our website, Quartz Wellness Collective, where you'll find a link to our YouTube channel where you can find more videos like this. I hope you enjoyed.